Welcome back to Backyard Crops. I'm Adam Grove, and today I'm showing you something most gardeners never attempt because they believe it's impossible. They think the frost means sleeping gardens, but that's completely wrong. Right now, while temperatures are still dropping and your neighbors' yards look dormant, is actually the perfect moment to start building the most productive garden imaginable. This timing is your secret weapon. If you want vegetables flowing from your beds all summer and fall long, stick around because I'm breaking down exactly how to make it happen. And hey, if this sounds useful, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss when we upload. Let's grow something incredible together. Super early vegetable number 1, bulbing onions from seeds. Here's the thing about growing onions in your own space. There's simply nothing like the taste. When you harvest your first homegrown bulb and use it as a foundation for a home-cooked meal, you understand immediately why serious gardeners prioritize this crop. Most people use starter sets, which are basically pre-formed small bulbs. But there's actually a smarter route. Growing onions directly from seeds gives you major advantages. Seed-grown onions almost never bolt, which is that frustrating early flowering that happens before you get a decent-sized bulb. Plus, growing from seeds costs significantly less money. I'm using a plug tray system today, specifically one with 40 individual cells. This size is ideal because it gives my young seedlings plenty of room to establish strong roots before transplanting arrives. Here's a pro tip most people overlook. Stack your trays carefully and always check the undersides before bringing them inside, especially if they've been sitting outside. I've discovered slugs more than once making homes underneath these trays, and they absolutely devastate emerging seedlings. It's worth the 30-second inspection. Before sowing, I'm preparing the growing medium. Standard all-purpose potting mix is perfect, but I'm finishing it with a finely sieved layer on top. This creates a smooth surface that helps tiny onion seeds settle properly into contact with the soil. I fill the tray solidly with the regular mix, then add that screen's top layer. Once it's level, I firm it down lightly. This creates little natural depressions that hold seeds exactly where they should stay. The variety I'm planting today is selected specifically for producing larger final bulbs. My reasoning is straightforward. If I emphasize larger bulb genetics, even when conditions aren't absolutely perfect, I'll still harvest medium-sized bulbs instead of disappointing tiny ones. The logic might seem backwards, but it works consistently. My sowing technique is simple: precision. I'm placing roughly 6 seeds into each individual cell. 5 to 8 works fine, but 6 is the target. This isn't guess and check work. You actually develop an instinct for it after doing it a few times. The timing is flexible too. Onion seeds germinate successfully from midwinter straight through early spring, but starting right now means earlier harvests. Here's the practical benefit. As soon as you pull up mature onions in early summer, you can immediately replant that bed with something else, maybe chard or kale, that grows all through late summer and fall. You're literally doubling your annual productivity per square foot. After all cells are seeded, I cover them lightly with that same sieves potting mix. Nothing heavy-handed, just enough to contact the seeds. Now for watering. A fine rose watering can works well, but I absolutely love using a pump-action hand sprayer because it delivers the gentlest possible mist without displacing seeds. The other trick is setting the whole tray into a shallow water reservoir and letting moisture wick up naturally from below. Either way works. Use whatever you have available. These trays come indoors to germinate in the ambient warmth of a heated house rather than on expensive heat mats. This modest temperature boost speeds germination and increases your chances of an earlier harvest. When seedlings emerge, if germination is excellent, I thin them down to 4 or 5 per cell. They grow together in a tight cluster like that, and later get planted out as a unit, spaced about 12 inches apart in both directions, basically a grid pattern. This cluster planting method produces wonderful results. Don't forget to like and comment below if you're trying this method this season. Super early vegetable number 2, chili peppers, for guaranteed success. Shifting indoors now because chili peppers are a completely different animal. These plants need an extended growing period, so getting them started incredibly early is just smart strategy. If you can provide consistent warmth and supplemental lighting once they emerge, you're positioned for success. I'm starting with seed packets I saved from last year. Here's something important. I'm deliberately choosing milder varieties, not the super hot ones. This choice matters more than people realize. Milder pepper varieties reach maturity faster, which means you harvest before a disappointing summer destroys everything. It's insurance against poor weather. Peppers love warmth, so I prepared my potting mix the night before by bringing it indoors. Let it reach room temperature slowly. Think of it as tucking in your seeds with a cozy blanket. This simple step really does improve germination rates noticeably. My mix today combines three components for the best drainage possible. I'm mixing standard all-purpose potting compost with coconut fiber coir, plus a generous helping of perlite. That white perlite stuff is optional, but genuinely helpful because it prevents the mix from becoming waterlogged, and peppers absolutely hate soggy conditions. The perlite is quite dry and dusty, so I'm wetting everything first and mixing it very slowly and carefully. Perlite dust isn't great to inhale, so if you've got an old mass somewhere, this is the perfect use for it. I'm filling individual pots, roughly 4 inches square, and sowing 9 seeds across the top in a 3x3 pattern. Cover lightly with the same mix, firm it down just a touch, and absolutely add your label, because if you're trying multiple varieties, you'll forget which is which within a week. Pots beat plug trays for pepper germination because you're using space more efficiently early on. These seedlings will stay in these pots longer as individuals before transplanting anywhere, which means your heat mats and grow lights cover less physical area. Smart space management matters when you're using electricity to warm and light everything. Temperature is absolutely critical here. Chili peppers need minimum warmth of around 75 degrees Fahrenheit, about 24 degrees Celsius. I'm placing these pots into a tray, covering with a humidity dome, basically a clear plastic propagator, and setting the whole thing on a heated mat already adjusted to that temperature. The mat sits on some recycled packaging material that helps reflect heat upward, keeping everything cozy. I'm placing a temperature sensor inside to monitor that we're hitting our target. If you don't own a heat mat or fancy equipment, a simple clear plastic bag secured with an elastic band works genuinely well. Position it somewhere consistently warm, next to a boiler, on a south-facing windowsill, anywhere you know stays naturally heated. It'll germinate slower than heated systems, but it absolutely will germinate. Once seedlings break through soil, they'll need supplemental lighting for about 12 hours daily. At this dark time of year, it's essential. If you have no grow lights available, consider starting peppers a month later when natural daylight strengthens, or create a simple light box using cardboard lined with white material or aluminum foil to bounce available light around on a windowsill. Subscribe to Backyard Crops now so you don't miss our full pepper growing update video. By mid-spring, when frost danger passes and consistent warmth arrives, these seedlings transition back outside to a greenhouse or sheltered area. From that point, it's smooth sailing through to harvest. Super early vegetable number 3, cauliflowers for maximum harvests. Cauliflowers are genuinely special vegetables. Those pristine white heads are absolute crowd pleasers, and I genuinely love them every single season. The thing I appreciate most is their incredible harvest window. Depending on when you sow, you're gathering beautiful curds from early summer straight through autumn. Look at these seedlings sitting here. I planted them back in autumn, and they're quietly overwintering, ready to transplant in very early spring for my earliest harvests. But planting right now in winter sets me up for the next wonderful batch later on. Today's variety is cleverly named all year round because that's exactly what it delivers. I'm scattering seeds across sieved potting mix using the same pinch method I showed earlier, then covering lightly. Here's the technique detail. I could sow directly into individual plug cells, but starting them in a shared tray first lets me germinate more efficiently. Then I separate them carefully and pot each seedling individually. It's another space-saving strategy. Cabbage family plants, including cauliflower, don't require much heat to germinate. They're pretty tougher than peppers. Still, I'm bringing them indoors because it speeds emergence noticeably. They'll set on a windowsill indoors until sprouting, then return outside to the greenhouse to grow on. Once they develop, I'll gently tease seedlings apart and pot each one separately into its own cell. Super early vegetable number 4, pointed cabbage through winter sowing. Here's an entirely different technique that opens amazing possibilities if you lack a greenhouse. It's called winter sowing, and it works phenomenally well using recycled milk jugs. I've got a stunning pointed cabbage variety here called Caraflex that tolerates sowing from now right through early summer, producing compact, delicious heads all season long. I'm also starting an early season leek called Jolant that'll be ready for harvesting from early autumn onward. Creating winter-sown containers is laughably simple. Take standard milk jugs and poke drainage holes in the bottom using a sharp tool. Fill them with all-purpose potting mix just like normal. See how the lid is still hinged to the main body? Perfect. That prevents wind from separating pieces. I'm sprinkling seeds across the surface, covering them lightly and adding labels, then sealing everything shut with heavy-duty duct tape once sowing finishes. Here's what makes this system magical. These jugs provide slightly extra warmth and wind protection compared to bare ground sowing, yet they're not complicated or technical. Seeds germinate at their own pace, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 6, whenever conditions feel right to them. They instinctively know. Position your jugs in a sheltered outdoor spot away from extreme wind. Keep the lid slightly open so rain moistens everything naturally, but provides that extra protective barrier. When seedlings emerge, carefully remove them and pot them into individual cells to grow on normally. Then, wash out those milk jugs completely and recycle them. Zero waste, no plastic accumulation in your yard. Share this video with anyone who thinks their gardening season is finished until spring. Let's change how people think about growing. This exact winter sowing method works beautifully for early salad crops too. Lettuce, spinach, and similar fast-growing vegetables love this approach. Now we're finally getting our hands directly into soil, and it's genuinely the moment I've been anticipating most. We've done pots, trays, and milk jugs, but nothing compares to working the earth itself, releasing all those beneficial microorganisms as we plant these incredible cloves. I'm slightly behind schedule this year. I usually finish planting garlic by late autumn, but midwinter is genuinely perfect timing too. The intense cold period is still arriving, and garlic absolutely needs this chilling spell. That cold signals each planted clove to divide internally, forming multiple sections that develop into a complete new bulb. I'm planting 2 distinct types today. First is Mersey White, a softneck variety that supposedly stores for 10 months, though honestly it vanishes much faster in our kitchen. Second is Carcassonne, a hardneck type from the south of France apparently, described as having bold flavor and superior complexity. I've never heard garlic described poetically before, but there you go. The soil preparation is simple but important. I've incorporated a generous layer of compost throughout the bed. It's positioned in a sunny location that will get increasingly bright through spring, and the garlic will absolutely thrive there. Notice something. Some individual cloves are noticeably smaller than others. That's completely fine. If you have abundant tiny cloves, you can plant them separately in a pot purely to grow tender leaves. They'll make small bulbs but delicious greens. Alternatively, just include them everywhere if space allows. Planting depth matters. Aim for 2 to 3 inches down, roughly 5 to 7 centimeters. You want the pointy end of each clove facing straight upward. Space them about 6 inches apart in both directions, creating a simple grid layout. Once everything is planted, you honestly don't need to do much. They don't require watering until spring when soil naturally begins drying. Pull the occasional weed if you notice them, and then from mid-spring, you'll see absolutely phenomenal growth erupting. By early summer, you're harvesting amazing bulbs. It's remarkably straightforward. Super early vegetable number 6. Onion multipliers, the underrated option. Many gardeners completely skip multiplier onions, but they're genuinely worth considering. These varieties produce sets naturally, meaning you're constantly generating new small bulbs without needing annual purchases. Plant multiplier sets with the same technique as regular garlic, roughly 2 inches deep, 6 inches apart. They require virtually identical treatment to garlic, minimal water until spring, occasional weeding, then vigorous growth as temperatures climb. By summer, you're harvesting bunches of small bulbs perfect for pickling or roasting whole. It's a completely different harvest style compared to storage onions, and it's wonderfully productive. Super early vegetable number 7. Shallots. Subtle sophistication. Shallots might seem similar to onions, but their delicate, complex flavor make them entirely separate considerations. Starting shallots right now means exceptional bulbs by midsummer. Plant individual shallot cloves, yes, they come in cloves like garlic, at roughly the same spacing and depth as multiplier onions. They appreciate the same minimal care approach. Get them planted, let winter and spring work their magic, and harvest when foliage naturally dies back. Shallots are honestly underrated additions to any serious vegetable garden. Planning your bumper harvest season. Even though it feels impossibly early, right now is genuinely your moment for strategic planning. Take a few moments today to sketch out what grows where and when throughout your entire season. Succession planting, sowing additional seeds every few weeks, extends harvests dramatically. One planting of lettuce or beans isn't nearly as useful as 3 sequential plantings spaced intelligently. Consider your space thoughtfully. Where do early crops finish? What can follow immediately? Planning this way creates continuous harvests instead of feast and famine cycles. You've just watched the complete early season strategy that separates productive gardens from neglected spaces. We've covered 7 absolutely crucial vegetables you can start right now, techniques for every situation, and timing strategies that maximize your space. I genuinely hope this inspires you to get started immediately. Don't wait. The window for winter sowing and cold period planting is genuinely open right now, and you literally cannot plant earlier than this without equipment. Drop a comment below telling me which crop you're starting first. Hit that like button to help backyard crops reach more gardeners. Subscribe so you catch our follow-up videos on each of these vegetables as they grow. And share this with fellow gardeners who think their season hasn't started yet. There's nothing stopping you from growing the absolute most productive garden you've ever created. It all starts with these early decisions happening right now, during the coldest months when others are sleeping and waiting. Not you though, you're building abundance. The garden season isn't approaching, it's starting right now. Let's make it an extraordinary one together. I'll see you in the next video.